This is Paul. Yes. Such a beautiful morning this morning. So, I'm planning on going to the food bank today, and I dislike going to the food bank. But I've got to get some food, and I've been working to be able to sleep on a bed. Yes. And then somebody thought, well, we're going to cut off his rental assistance so he can't rent a room, so I have to live in a homeless shelter because no one actually wants to enforce the requirements of the law. So, now, when we look at what day it is, I think it's in October. It's towards the end of October. Yes. And I've been emailing approximately 2 million emails, and I really don't want to have to go to the food bank today. But you don't give a fuck what I want to do. Well, let's look at it different. Hooch. It's that time of year when the road crews in the county start getting the salt spreaders ready. Yes, because when it snows or it freezes throughout the northern half of the United States, they have these employees that really don't get the hours except for when it snows, and maybe Minnesota or Michigan or one of these northern states is kind of thinking, oh my gosh, it's going to snow pretty soon. Pooch. Could you get me the actual locations where you keep all the salt for all the ice and the snow and all the employees that get that time and a half and double time? When it snows, you got to clear the road so that they can get through. Now, I'm kind of thinking that you've been buying your salt from somebody other than myself. As the person that actually does have the innovation to desalinate approximately 2 trillion gallons of water a year. Yes. The agreement was that you paid me 100% markup, approximately 5 cents a gallon for all the fresh water that I could be producing. Yes. 4 cents a gallon if I use a magnifying glass 100 times magnification of the sun. Yes, those solar furnaces where could get up to 10 to 15,000 degrees Fahrenheit. I wanted all that salt because I know that you're purchasing salt every year in the northern half of really the northern hemisphere. Yes, quite possibly the southern half of the southern half of the southern hemisphere the other half of the year. But I'm going to want to know where you're buying your salt and where you've been getting it from and how much you've been paying for it. Now, I'm thinking that I'm going to have a contract with every state of the United States that you're going to buy my salt, and it might be 5% less than what you've been paying, but a lot of competitors are going to be upset because I'm going to produce that fresh water, and it's going to produce snow, and when it snows, you're going to buy my salt. Now, I'm sitting on a huge amount of salt when you think about the next 20 to 30 years. Yes. If you looked at the salinity of the actual ocean and then converting that to steam and that steam to electricity, it is a contractual obligation of all desalinators that I get all the salt. Oh, it's going to be salty today. Now, why don't you get me those employees that run the blades, right, that they scoot the snow off of the streets, and then you got all these these different vehicles that you use so as to spread the salt on the actual roads themselves so that the commuters can get back and forth to work, because I think I'm missing billions upon billions upon billions of fucking dollars.